So one of the things that I'd like to then perhaps rewind a little bit to is your time at university school in Chicago, where you went after being at Wharton, and you were in, if not the first class, one of the first classes to really kind of be taught what's become known as Chicago School. So this was what we now define as the basics of, it was efficient market hypothesis, modern portfolio theory, the concepts of alpha and beta. How useful was that to be at the vanguard of learning about those things, and how has your view of those things over time, your acceptance of them, evolved?
Well, I think that it was an incredible gift to be there at that time. We were talking before about, I asked Max which of my memos he liked the best, and he said one that I wrote in January of 14 called "Getting Lucky," and I think it is. It's the one that got the most response, although maybe not until the last memo. But it was a very important one, and I consider luck extremely important. I consider myself to have been incredibly lucky in my life, and in a memo, I think the reason people liked it is because I listed a dozen ways in which I felt that I had been very lucky. And going to Chicago, and being at the beginning of any positive trend is a great gift. You can't claim credit for doing it. It's a historical accident, but it's an incredible thing, and that was for me. So, for example, look, the efficient market hypothesis, which says that all available information is already incorporated into the price of every security, so you can't do better. You can't beat the market. You can't tell which ones are there aren't any bargains. There aren't any overpricings. Everything is fairly priced. This is a cornerstone of the theory. I think it's essential to understand it. Now, if you believe it, you shouldn't be here, because it means there is no scope for active management. So, but if you don't understand it and consider it, then you're really missing something. It is real. It is important, and you shouldn't swallow it whole, but you also shouldn't ignore it.
There are different ways to interpret it, I guess, aren't there? And that markets may be efficient most of the time, but clearly, and this is one of the ways that Oaktree has performed so well, as you mentioned earlier, is that recognising the extremes of cycles and being able to act aggressively at that time when markets aren't efficient.
Again, if you go back to that memo, what we said about high yield bonds just now, they were not known, not understood, denigrated by the authorities, illegal in many applications, and they had a bad name for them, junk bonds, right? So how could they not languish cheap? Now, and 40 years ago, people would say to me, well, young man, I'm sure you could make money doing that, but would it be right? Would it be respectable? And fast forward to 2019, now nobody gives a damn. Anybody will do anything they can think of to make money today. Nobody has any scruples. Well, yes, I could make money, but far be it from me to stoop that low. The world has changed. And so, there's nothing that's off bounds because of its own character. And there's very little that's unknown. Information is ubiquitous, computer literacy, etc. So what I say in the luck memo toward the end is that there is much less reason today to believe in the existence of what I would call structural inefficiency.
Yeah.
But from time to time there is cyclical inefficiency, which is to say that regardless of the merits of an investment, sometimes people like it too much and sometimes they like it too little. And those are forms of error, which you might say is inefficiency, and we should try to take advantage. So when they like it too much, we should sell it to them, and when they don't like it enough, we should buy it from them.
Yeah. So I want to come on to cycles, because I think